Hi, my name is Erin, and I write fantasy fiction and poetry.
And I'm KR House, and I write fantasy and science fiction.
And today we're going to be talking about the idea of book series, or just kind of series in general, that are really long. You've got, when you kind of go to the bookstore, you are kind of, these days it seems like kind of torn between your standalone or your like very short series, and then like you've got like your Wheel of Time level, 16 book. That kind of.
I think it's 14, but
same difference. In the interest of like exaggerating. Anyway, so there's obviously different effects that kind of has. So I guess where we'll start is, do you like to read long book series like that?
I do like to read long book series, but I am a binger and a forgetter. So like I go through periods with book series and TV shows where I like my ideal way to consume stories would be to only think about this story for like a period of like 48 to 72 hours and then never touch it again. That's how I kind of approach media, which isn't great. So like there's a lot of really long book series that I've started that I haven't finished. And I tend to jump around. My husband is really into really long book series, and he will, like when he likes one, he's like, oh, I gotta finish it. Like I gotta go through the whole thing. And I get fatigued, and then I take a break and come back. That's kind of how I consume them. But gotcha. I do like them. Yeah. Depending on which one.
Which one? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I feel like when you talked about like being fatigued, that's kind of like how I react to them too, is like my reading stamina in general is not great, not super strong, but yeah, it's like part of the reason we've mentioned this in a couple videos recently. I don't know why. Like the reason I haven't like finished the Wheel of Time is because it's just like I'm like, okay, I finished one. That was kind of a longer book compared to the ones that I usually read. Oh my gosh, there's
so many
more.
Left to go. Yeah, so many left to go.
So it's like it took me a long time, which I'm doing the audiobooks for various reasons. And so it took me a long time to finish the first one. It's taken me even longer to do the second one because I'm just like, there's so many other books. There's so many other stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, and then I remember, I think the first one I ran into where I was like, whoa, this is getting to be a long series was Percy Jackson. I was like, the original series. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is awesome. It felt like a really like good place to kind of leave it off. I was like, that was satisfactory. That whole thing was great. And then they were like, oh, well, now we're going to do the Heroes of Olympus. And I was like, oh my gosh, more Percy Jackson? Wonderful. And then read the first book and I was like, okay, we're going to the second one. I never even finished the second one. And then it just kept going and going. And I was like, why though? Like what was wrong with it just being kind of what it was?
Yeah, I think beginning. For Heroes of Olympus, like I had a similar experience with Heroes of Olympus where I was like, I made it like, maybe I made it to book 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But I didn't finish it. And I was like, Yeah. Or if I did finish it, I don't remember how it ended. So like, I probably didn't finish it.
Yeah. So it's like, I guess in general, I don't have a problem with like long stories and things like that. Like I kept up with Marvel for most of that run. But I don't know. With book series, a lot of the time I'm just like, why is it that long though?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that necessary? Unsure.
My husband and I were talking about it because he, like I said, he loves really long book series. He's like, it's so long. This is so good. He was like, that's so much book. Like I get to be in this world for for so long. That's so awesome. And I get that, but I get like, there's so many things that I have a little bit broader taste than he, like there's more types of books that I like than he does, I think. And so like, I'm like, if I commit to this one really long series, I could do like, experience 3 or 4 stories instead of this one giant story.
Yeah.
But I do think there's like things, there's benefits to a really long story. Like I think Wheel of Time, some of it could definitely have been shortened. There's no world in which Wheel of Time is ever the size of Lord of the Rings. Like it just is a longer story. And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
It is intimidating.
Yeah, my escapism muscle also isn't developed enough to like be in one place for that long of a time because I'm like, I think if I could do that more, like if I could detach and like get into it more, I would probably be more willing or excited to like read the same kind of story for that long. But I don't know. I think I've also just been burned by too many non-book things kind of going on forever, like TV series and like movie series where I'm just like, well, now you're just making it more complicated and it's not really good, which I don't know. Maybe that doesn't happen so much in books, but.
Well, I think like, because definitely it is a thing where like writers will like plan however so many books. And then if it does well, they'll be like, okay, we're going to keep this going. And like TV shows do that too, where it's like, okay, they only planned, the story was supposed to end in season 3, but it got renewed because it did so well. And now we're just making stuff up. And it's like, well, you're making stuff up the whole time, but it's like, it's not going to, you're kind of extending it past its natural conclusion. And I don't like that as much, where it's, now it's long for the sake of being long. And again, a lot of people really like that. Like my husband. But I'm like, no, if it's long, I want it to be because the story needs it to be long.
Yeah, from a marketing and product perspective, that is a great choice.
Yes.
To keep it going. But sometimes for the actual story, it's like, well, the story has been told at this point. And it's kind of like life, you know? Like you have your little arcs in life and you're like, well, now we're done with that and we're going on to something else. But I don't know. Nobody really needs a book of like one person's entire, like there's something nice sometimes about like not having all the information about like the characters. It's like you see that main part of their story and you're like, okay, great, that's it.
Yeah, I think sometimes some of the attitude toward comic books and like, well, I was gonna say anime and manga, but that is also kind of comic adjacent. But like that type of media has like bled into books where like fans are willing to like sit with a group of characters for longer, which I think is interesting. I feel like that's more of a modern thing.
Yeah. And I don't so much have a problem with that. Like, yeah, if they're good characters, that's great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think some of the ways that those stories get extended is just not, I don't know. Maybe it's just that there's a better way to tell a different part of their story.
Yeah, because like I think of like Star Wars, because this is a more common example. Like, okay, now, you know, why did they make episode, I don't even remember what number they were. Was it 10, 11, or...
The sequels? Like Rey ones?
Yes, the Rey ones.
The 7 through 9.
Oh, 7, wow, I was... Okay. But yeah, episode 7 through 9, kind of, you know, you're making a Star Wars movie just to make a Star Wars movie, and the way that the story they chose to tell felt like it was just, like, repeating. Yeah. Like, especially when they're like, oh, Palpatine's back. You're like, okay, you're extending that for the sake of extending that. His story didn't need to continue. Like, he should have... That cheapens the earlier part of the story where Darth Vader sacrifices himself to end Palpatine. Like that. Yeah. It's better without that.
Yeah. And of course, that's also going to depend on the specific reader, whether that aspect of the story is the one they want to hear. Because, like, sometimes it's just like, so, like, let's go back to the Percy Jackson example. It's like, you kind of start off where it's like, this is a continuation of that story, but we're not talking about the same people, especially going from Percy Jackson to Heroes of Olympus. And it's just kind of like, well, yeah, I'm sure that was interesting for some people, and they probably really liked that, but I'm kind of like, but I want to know what the other people are doing. Like that, I don't know. Yeah. But then again, I don't know. I'm like, you could give me like the terrible, like, such a struggle, like, oh my gosh, we've vanquished the beast and now we're done. That's great. And now I'm like, well, I want a slice of life after that. And it's like, not many people are like going for that.
Well, that is kind of more of a trend now. With these really long series, that's kind of what they're doing is like, they're like, extending it to like, oh, now we've got the arc where they're like starting a business and like, or like they're starting a bakery, or like they're doing like, they defeated the villain and now they're getting married, and like, oh, now they're having or like whatever. Like, I tend to not like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I feel like there's a middle ground in there that I'm like,
that's the kind of, or like, okay, this is also full disclosure, I might be misrepresenting that actually now that I think, like, I'm assuming like these books are like, he really loves Wandering In. Which is like the longest book series ever. Like, and it's, and I'm assuming there's a lot of slice of life in there.
There has to be.
Because like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
But that could be me. I don't like slice of life a ton, but there's nothing wrong with it. And I don't actually know for a fact that Wandering In has slice of life. But this is my thing, because again, I'm basing this off of anime. A lot of time anime they have the filler episodes. So in my mind, some of these book series have basically filler episodes. And I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, that's the thing. I love a good filler episode. I know a lot of people are like, I can't stand them. So I guess it's, again, it just depends Depends on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about like, those are our thoughts on like reading and watching long series. Do you have any aspirations to write a long series? What are your thoughts on that?
I think like when I was younger and I wanted to write, I kind of thought that was what you were supposed to do, I guess, because I was used to things like Magic Tree House and
yes, they go on forever.
The Series of Unfortunate Events, where you've got a lot of books in that series. But in my more like adult writing experience, I don't know, I feel really drawn toward more of the Brandon Sanderson kind of model, where it's like you have standalone books that are connected somehow, but they are not necessarily direct sequels of one another. So I don't know. Also, most of the story ideas I've gotten have just been things that don't really feel like they could be a series. They really seem like it's like, okay, we could write like one book about that and it's probably going to encapsulate it and then we're done. I don't know. Which then again, like the more I've thought about some of them, I'm like, okay, well, what are they going to do after that? Like, you know, there has to be light, but I don't know.
You could write the slice of life after.
I don't think I want to do that.
Okay.
I will watch a filler episode, but I want to write one. But that's just because I'm afraid it'd be cringy. And, you know, we've already talked about don't worry about that. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, beside the point. Mostly I feel like a standalone kind of writer. I don't really want to do long epic saga series or anything like that.
Yeah, standalone but interconnected universe, I think, is a cool model.
Yeah, so I think that's my preference, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. What about you?
I think my favorite length is like a trilogy because I like that it's longer. Like, you know, I like that you kind of get to get into some more stuff because you've got more books, but like it's a little tighter than like those epic series.
Yeah.
And I think like when I think of book ideas that I have, I feel like most of them will be trilogies. I do have the aspiration to one day write like an epic saga, just as a thing that I think might be neat to do. Like I have an idea for what it could be. Yeah, but I would have to I wouldn't want it to be long just for the sake of being long. I would want it to be like actually like this is like an epic saga. There's like 10 different plot lines going on and like we're going through all this stuff. I think that would just be really cool to do at some point. So I do want to do that, but also I'm like, I feel like that'd be really hard. And like my idea for it is that like it's kind of ambitious. And I'm like, that feels like a thing to tackle in like my 40s or 50s when I'm like a little bit better than I am now.
More seasoned.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, all my preferences aside, I would read it if you had it.
Oh, okay, thank you. Well, and for standalones, I originally wanted the book I'm writing right now to be a standalone, and it just was too long. Like I didn't get to the end of, like I got to the end, and I was like, this is so unsatisfying. So I also want to one day write like an actual good standalone. And I'm like, oh, but you got to put the constraints on that to be like, no, this is the story. I feel like that's why I'm bad at short stories too, because I'm like, but what about all these other things? I'm like, no, we're going to put some guidelines.
Yeah. You're not, a trunk isn't enough. You need the branches and the leaves.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have like yeah.
Cool.
I think that's it. I think that's all we have to say about on that note. That those are our thoughts on like really long book series. Like, I feel like they've gotten more and more popular. Maybe that's not true. It seems to us they've gotten more and more popular as time has gone on. Do you like really long book series? Are you writing one? Do you love to read them? What are the pros and cons of them to you? Let us know in the comments. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.